Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the broadcast. We are here. I've got Ray up here in the booth with me tonight. I'm excited to get into some playoff action. We got the Trucks at Michigan tonight. It is the third round in the playoffs. I don't know why my brain wasn't working, but third round in the playoffs. Again, Trucks at Michigan. How are you feeling about the race tonight, Ray?
Oh man, this is going to be an exciting one. You and I have had some close battles here. I've had some close battles in other leagues, especially with the trucks and just around the same temperature that we're racing at tonight as well. And man, it gets dicey. There's a lot of close battles. There's fuel runs depending on if a green flag happens. If they get a bunch of cautions, it comes on the tire strategy, and there's a lot of things that can go on tonight. And I'm excited for. I'm excited for these guys to go on track. They've been killing it every single week. I mean, the last race that I broadcasted with you here with these guys, it was exciting. There's a lot of action going on, and I'm pretty sure every corner of the track is going to have a little bit of action tonight. It's going to be hard to keep up, but I'm excited for it.
Yeah, and I mean Michigan too, a track that I consider a draft track. I mean, of course, it's not a super speedway like Talladega or even Daytona and Atlanta, but the draft does play such a heavy factor here as well as the dirty air. So when these trucks get lumped up together and they start going around these corners, it's really going to get tight. Everybody's going to have to search for air, and it's going to be a lot of close racing. And I mean, I'd say Michigan for the most part, like on paper, is a pretty easy track, but again, it's a track that if you're not paying attention, it can definitely catch you off guard and you can get yourself into some trouble. So we'll see how these guys are able to, manage that tonight. And again, playoff racing, everything, intensity, everything is picking up. So looking at some of these times here in practice, the times are looking pretty close. Again, we'll see if that translates to qualifying. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. And I know it's going to be a good night tonight. And, we'll see. I think we've had different winners so far in the previous weeks for the playoffs. So we'll see if we have yet another playoff driver to win here tonight.
Yeah, I'm hoping to see the likes of like David Meacham or even Bobby driver like a Bob Grady or Sean Happy come in here and do pretty well tonight. I know KT has been pretty good. I've been hearing a lot of things about uh, Bryce Tucker. I've been seeing Patrick Camburn. I know he's been killing it every single week as well. So some of the big name hitters here that you normally see in the front, I'm pretty sure you're gonna see them in a lot tonight, and it's gonna be you're gonna see some three wide battles. And I know this track's big enough. I kind of compare this track to like an auto club. Everyone kind of cuts down to the apron, goes back up to the top of the track, and you can run that top line, but your right rear is gonna fall off after about 15 laps. So it's definitely gonna be a fun one to watch tonight as they traverse through these four turns at Michigan Motor Speedway. Or
Yeah,
International Speedway, sorry.
yeah, no, you're good. And for some reason, I had a mega brain fart there. We've actually only had one race in the playoffs. This is the second one. So, of course, Happy was able to take the win at Talladega. And so far, again, these times, we've got qualifying on in the background. Of course, we'll run over the starting grid once we're all set and ready to go. But these times in qualifying right now are looking pretty close. Again, we'll see how that translates over the race. But yeah, like you said, there's plenty of room out there on the track for 3, 4, 5 wide. Sometimes we see offset 6, and I know there's a lot of guys that are hungry to get a win tonight. I know, again, Happy's coming off the momentum. He wins both Talladega races last week, so he's looking to see if he can carry that over. There's a couple guys, though, that were feeling good about this track. Meacham was feeling pretty good about it. That's a name that you dropped as well. So those are two playoff drivers that have a pretty solid chance at, making their way on the podium and winning this thing. But nonetheless, we will go ahead and hop over to our racing screen here in just a moment. Actually, I want to not spoil the results here, so we are going to go here just for a quick moment, and that right there, boom, there we go. All right, doing things a little bit different. So there we go, we got the iRacing screen pulled up. Yeah, qualifying here is set to end here shortly. We will run over our starting grid once it is all set and ready to go. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. We've got a smaller field than we've really seen. I mean, I know there's a lot of people that are on that IPL list that are unable to qualify, but it looks like we've got 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 26 trucks. We haven't really gotten below 30 too much at any point in the season. So, but nonetheless, a lot of room for things to happen and moves to be made. And I'm just really curious to see. I think tire wear is definitely going to be the key here tonight, as it is at most places. So we'll see who's able to handle that. I know that the first stage is on lap, I want to say it's either 17 or 19. Can actually pull that up for you guys right now. We'll take a look at our quick race brief here. 75 laps, stages are at 19 and 37, and these drivers will get 3 sets of tires for their race here. So tires going to be important. 75 laps, only a couple sets to use, so better use them wisely.
No, exactly. It's especially with the 75-degree track temp tonight, and it's going to get a little colder throughout the race. But again, as we were saying earlier, you run that top line, your right rear is going to fall off. You're not really in the clean air. If you put yourself in dirty air, you're going to be scrubbing your tires in the turns. And it's really just to find that clean air tonight. And with the drafting that goes on with these trucks as well, it's going to be hectic. And I'm excited to see how they use these 3 tire sets tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll go ahead and get to our starting grid right now. We've got the number 13, David Meacham, 2-time winner here in the High Velocity Racing League Truck Series. He's got some momentum here. He's looking to capitalize on that as well. Made up a lot of ground on Sean last week. And again, he's going to try to continue that trend here tonight. Starting on his outside, the number 95 of KT McCann. He's had some unfortunate luck this season. He's been put himself in some tricky situations at times, but nonetheless, he's shown speed when he's been able to keep the truck clean. So we'll see if that'll carry over. Patrick Camburn, a guy, again, who's really had some momentum late here in the season, and he's had some good solid runs. You see all these drivers as well with their pink banners. That does indicate the drivers that are in the playoffs. So keep an eye out for those guys as well. Starting in row number 2 on the outside, we've got the number 60 of Brad Doer. He's been one of those silent assassins. He's been clean. He hasn't had too many flashy moments, but he's kept his name in the conversation when it matters. He will be starting P4. Position number 5, we've got the 53 of Chris Weiniger, and we've seen him and the guys over at K&W Motorsports really putting time into this season, and the results are showing. He gets himself a solid qualifying effort here starting in P5. And right now we have your points leader, the number 52 of Sean Happick, starting on the outside of row 3, and the number 52 High Velocity Racing Toyota Tundra TRD. In row number 4, we've got Bobby Grady on the inside with Bryce Tucker starting in P8. He did hold, I believe, the fastest lap in practice. Wasn't able to translate that for qualifying, but nonetheless, still a good effort. Qualifying P8 is still in the top 10. Matthew Chase here starting on the inside of row number 5 with Kean Fry, who had his first podium of the league last week at Talladega, so he's looking to carry some of that momentum here as well. And then closing out row number 6, we've got Andre Carvalho and Thomas Long.
Starting out row 7, you got Andre. I think you just said that name, no?
Yep, Andre and Thomas. So we will be in P13. Corey Moore will be where we're at.
Oh, there we go. Okay, I'm sticking up to it. We're here now. Corey Moore, P13 on the inside row. Andy Berry to his outside in P14. You got Kyle Rogers. I don't see his truck on the grid, but he's starting in P15 with Kendon Cook in P16. I don't see the trucks on the grid.
Yeah, those two are not there on the grid, but they are definitely here.
Starting off in 17th, you got Zachary Tyler. Didn't put down a qualifying lap, but could be one of the IPL drivers that we've had. Sean Wilder in 18th, starting on his outside there in the that 99 truck, the W99 truck there. You got John Shields starting in the 19th position on the inside in the Tennessee truck, with Travis George starting in the 20th position.
Yeah, then rounding out from there, P21, we've got the 64 of Hunter Jock with the number 51 of Brandon Dayoff on his outside in row number 11. In row 12, we've got Ryan Siebold and Samuel Moser, followed by Frank Zimmel is going to be your last truck here on the grid. Greg Moss is suspended for this week due to penalty infraction, so his name will show up on the timer, but he will not be on track tonight. So that will round out your starting line here for Michigan. Again, these trucks are about to get fired up here shortly. I'm looking forward to seeing what goes on here tonight. Again, Ray talked about it a little bit earlier on, but we see 75-degree ambient temperature outside. Track temp right now at about 99 degrees. That may warm up a degree or two as these trucks find their way on track, and then as time goes on, we might see that temperature start to fall. And, you know, Michigan is a track, and I've talked to it with Sean as well. Colder track temps, you know, typically calls for tighter track conditions, and if you're not careful, you can definitely burn up the right front. So you know, if these tires get a little bit of heat in them, it might help loosen these trucks up a little bit, and they can try to ride some momentum. But let's go ahead here. I know we didn't get to talk to you on the podcast. Who do you have that you think is going to come out on top here tonight?
Oh, I've been looking at Meacham the last little bit. I mean, even with him in the Cup Series and him doing well in this series too, in the Truck Series, man, I really think Meacham's got something tonight that a lot of drivers aren't ready for. He's been putting a lot of practice in. He's one of the drivers that you wouldn't, you know, he's in the running. He's close to it, but he's. I think tonight is going to be the shot. He's going to take that win tonight. So, going for David Meacham as one of our teammates as well in the Cup Series. I have to be a little biased here. I'm going for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, again, I think we've only had 3 two-time winners this season. That would be Randy Cornwell, Sean Happick, and then, of course, David Meacham wins our season opener at Daytona, and then comes away with a win a few weeks ago at Charlotte. So, yeah, I mean, that's a good, solid pick there, 100%. But, yeah, I mean, it's hard to bet against him. I mean, I think I'm going to throw a little bit of a wrench in a pick here, and I'm going to root for Chris here. I think if Chris Weiniger can have a good run and keep himself out of trouble, he's in the playoffs. He's been a pretty solid driver. He's 8th in points right now. If he can get a good run and stay out of trouble, I think Chris can have a pretty good shot at winning this race here tonight.
No, 100%. I mean, there's a lot of drivers out there that could still win it, like Bryce Tucker. Happy can still win this race. Andy Berry, Kendon Cook. But at the end of the day, it's keeping your truck clean and staying in that clean air. And we're going to see that as we're coming into turn 4 right now. As we're about to take the green flag.
Yeah, and I'm about to say the wait is about to be over. Lights are off on the iRacing pace car. It makes the hard left turn down pit road. We got a little ways to go before we get to the Geico restart zone, but nonetheless, these drivers are ready to get rocking and rolling. Green flag out at Michigan. Round 2 of the high velocity racing playoffs is underway.
Good start there from David Meacham as he's able to pull out to the top line there to get that run into turn 1 as they're 2x2x2 all the way back.
Yeah, again, guys, just looking to be a little bit tentative here on this out lap, but David Meacham is trying to capitalize on that and get a little bit of forward momentum. But yeah, you see it. These cars here, or these trucks, excuse me, are all under a blanket behind him. Meacham is just hoping that these guys continue to fight and he can try to grow that lead. But there you can see the run. KT gets on the backstretch, almost gets to the rear bumper of Meacham. Not quite there yet, but he is definitely looking to put the pressure on and get his name up there up front.
We have a truck on the outside wall in turn 3 there. I'm not too sure who exactly that was, but it took a hard right turn going up into that wall. So probably a little bit of wheel damage there if I had to say so, but we stayed green nonetheless.
Yeah, it looks like that was a 34 Kendon Cook, but now KT McCann getting to the rear bumper of David Meacham, but Patrick Camburn trying to put his name in this conversation. Does get into the outside wall a little bit there, does Patrick, so that's going to slow down his momentum. But again, KT putting a lot of pressure on David Meacham, and he's going to try to force him into an error. But the more and more that these guys fight, the more and more those tires heat up, and these guys get in the draft and they get that momentum and they put their name in the conversation for the lead.
I'd like to look back at some of the races that you and I had on this track, and you know how we worked together and whatnot. And it's really good to kind of set your pace strong at the start of the race, but you really want to make sure you're saving those tires and you're trying to find at least people to work with to help you out in the later stages of these runs to kind of keep the speed going as we have a lead change.
Yeah, and there you go. KT does complete the pass, and to your point, I wonder if that's Meacham kind of recognizing what's at stake here. Stage though again at lap 17, so I mean it's still a decent amount of laps to put on these tires, but nothing too crazy. And excuse me, stage is actually at 19, so I mean, but then again, the point still stands. I wonder if that's Meacham just trying to realize where he's at with the current situation, and you know he's going to be perfectly content riding behind KT right now and stay in that draft. He'll also save a little bit of fuel, which will help him when they come down for the pit stops at the end of stage number 1 here.
Do you know what they're getting for fuel mileage for this race? Are we, do you know the exact number for laps here for a long run?
I do not. I will be able to get that information. Again, we had a little bit of technical difficulties getting this thing booted. So, you know, it took a little bit longer. I wasn't able to get that information, but if I'm sure, I know that their fuel is usually a little bit past the stage or right at it here in the truck series. So I would imagine that trend would continue, but if we do get a caution beforehand, I will definitely get that information. But right now KT looking strong up front to the point, and now we see a battle for what looks to be P7. We got Bryce Tucker, Kean Fry, and Chris Weiniger all battling into turn 1. Chris going to have that high line. He'll lose a little bit of the edge in the corner, but he should get that run down the backstretch, especially when these trucks pull up. He'll get that draft, and he should be able to clear the 7 of Bryce Tucker.
Chris had a little bit of an issue coming out of turn 2 a couple laps ago, hitting the outside walls. No damage, luckily, on the right-hand side of that truck there, but definitely slowed him down a little bit as he's trying to run that high line compared to the other drivers here staying in that clean air. So it's great to see this little battle here as they're offset 3 wide.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, I mean, again, Chris taking that high line, that's going to gain him a lot of momentum off the corners, but how long is he going to be able to sustain that line up top without the tires falling off too much? I mean, again, it's something that we're going to harp on a lot here in Michigan, especially with how wide and how long the corners are. You really got to manage that tire temp. So we'll see if that high lane is going to hold true over the course of this race. But right now, only thing holding true is KT trying to run away from the field right now. He's got a pretty good gap here to the second place truck here in David Meacham. But again, will we see David Meacham turn it up here in just a few laps?
I don't know if you guys saw that too. KT was actually going down to the white line on the backstretch to kind of break that draft from the drivers behind him as well. So he's really playing a long game, trying to make sure no one gets that draft. So he's able to stay in front there, as he's currently about half a second ahead of David Meacham there.
Yeah, and I wonder if something happened to the 52 of Sean Happick. We saw him in front of, or just behind Patrick Cameron, and now he's kind of gotten himself in this battle with Weiniger, Tucker, and Fry. So I don't know if he got loose or maybe he had slight contact with the wall, but we see him kind of falling back a little bit as it looks like this battle is now between Tucker and Happick for P6.
Yeah, the 7 truck of Bryce Tucker there running that inside line, just really saving his tires, able to pull up with the draft and then get up top to kind of still run in line with everybody there. Really working on the tire saving, fuel saving at the same time, and running some pretty good lap times. Looking at his lap times now, he's currently averaging around the 40.6 second mark right now. He was running the last 3 laps there. He was running at 39.6. So definitely pick up the pace from the couple laps from beforehand.
Yeah, absolutely. To get all these drivers that are in this little train here are going to save a little bit of more fuel just by being in that pack, as we see Patrick Camber now looking for the move on Bobby Grady into turn 3. But KT out front, again, that lead just continuing to grow here ever so slightly. But Bryce Tucker looking to attack here again to try to make this 3 wide. Not quite. Patrick thinks better of it. Grady's going to hop down and try to stay in line. But KT McCann now with a 3/10 lead, as Brad Dewar actually was able to get around Meacham as well. So I wonder if the tires are already starting to come to play here 9 laps into this run.
Look at Patrick Camburn running that outside wall, running the Kyle Larson line there, able to make a pass on, I think that was on 53 of Tucker there? No, I think I'm wrong on that one. 53 of Weiniger, sorry. Gets held up by Happy, though, as he comes up as well. So definitely everyone's moving around the track as Happy and Weiniger really go side by side there, almost touching doors, but able to clean it up on the front stretch there.
Yeah, everybody getting a little loose now, trying to fight for every position they can here as these stage laps continue to wind on down. And again, tires, I think, really starting to come into play. We see a lot of guys already moving and migrating to the top line. Sean still running that bottom line. And again, Sean is a guy that we've talked about all season long. He really, really values the life of those tires. And here yet again, I see that he is trying to do what he can to keep them under control. So if he can continue to, keep those tires at bay for another lap or 2 and then start making some pace up top and get a hold of that draft, he might have something. I mean, he's still over a second behind our race leader, but he can definitely try to improve that position if he can stay up front.
I do want to give a little shout out to Corey Moore there in the 45 truck. Beautiful paint scheme tonight running out of him, but the last couple laps there, he was saving at the start of the race, but he's able to pull off double the 40.2 average. He slides up the top of the track there to turn 2, able to get the draft from Weiniger there as he's now in 9th position. So definitely making some gains on that 45 truck there.
Yeah, absolutely. We actually heard it from Joe Hudson on Friday night in our Cup Series. It's hard to let these drivers kind of blow by you for the first part of the stage or a run, but eventually that role reverses once we get to the latter half of the stage, and you can really see who saved their tires, and he's really looking to make some moves right now. I think he is the second biggest mover on track. Patrick Camburn is down 5 positions, Matthew Chase up 6, and Corey Moore up 4. So a lot of movement on the field right now, through the field, and we see Brad Dewar getting down low. Potential contact with the 13 of Meacham, Bobby Grady looking to capitalize on that as well. He's going to take that third place spot for now, but he's looking to try to make it second as he dives low on Brad Dorr.
And the racecraft is crazy right now with these trucks. And as I said earlier before the race even started, you're going to see 3 wide, you're going to see 2 wide, you're going to see a bunch of battles going on, especially with that top line. But if I'm David Meacham in this position, or if I'm the 7 of Bryce Tucker, I'm looking out for my right rear right now. I want to make sure that we're keeping it straight, staying out of that outside wall as Meacham just hits there with 3 wide.
Yeah, contact, not to cut you off there, but I believe that was between Grady and I want to say Camburn. Contact off of 2. Saw it in the background. The chase cam from KT. Dewar just gets loose, and there he goes. He's going around again in the corner. Able to hold on to it, but he's dropping like a rock down to P12. Wonder if he got on one of those seams and got the truck loose, but nonetheless, KT is loving everything he sees in his rearview mirror right now.
You look farther back, Sean Wilder and Fry in the 14 truck made contact coming to the stripe as they were 3 wide coming out of turn 4 as well. So definitely tires are being an issue right now as everyone's getting a little bit loose and trying to hold on to it.
Yeah, 19 laps doesn't sound like a lot, but again, Michigan is a track that asks a lot of your equipment, and we're seeing it now with Sean Happick looking to make the dive on Bryce Tucker. We'll see if he's able to complete the pass. He does make the pass. He slides up, crossing those seams is going to upset that truck. Able to hold on to it, though. Bryce Tucker and Chris Weiniger now in tow of the 52 of Sean Happick as we cross the line. Lap 15, 4 to go here in stage number 1. Things are really starting to ramp up right now.
Man, I'm one to have, say, white wheels, keep the tires colder, but a lot of the guys that have the colored wheels are making some really aggressive moves on the outside line. I'm thinking that's maybe the move nowadays, not the white wheels. The one truck gets a little swirly in the background.
Yeah, everybody getting loose. Like you said, it's intensity is picking up, and these guys are starting to feel the heat. Stage coming to an end here in just 4 laps time, so everybody trying to get what they can here at the end of stage number 1. And Sean Happick, again, he saved those tires. Keep an eye on that gap here and see if he's able to close it here with just now 3 to go. Well, I guess we're still technically at 4 to go. No, we are at 3 to go. I can't do the math. Hell, either way, it doesn't matter. They're racing. Come on.
Man, it's been hectic here throughout the whole field. There's battles in the front, battles in the back. But if we look at our leader currently is over a second gap from KT to Sean Happy as the battle for second continues. Definitely one to look for, as I think KT has it right now, but we don't know if he's going to be able to hold on to it as Sean is making a charge currently with the Bryce Tucker in tow.
Yeah, I mean, that gap is closing ever so slightly just now to about 8/10. They got 2 laps to do it. If they can work together, they might have a chance of getting there, but it looks like if KT keeps it clean, he should have this one in the bag. I think right now we are definitely in a battle for P2 as Patrick Camburn makes a slide job on Bryce Tucker. Has to check up a little bit to avoid getting into the 52 of Sean Happick. Able to complete the pass, so that puts Patrick Camburn up to P3, but Bryce Tucker said, no, sir, I'm not done yet. He's looking to make a move again down here the backstretch, looking to make that dive in turn number 3 here. We'll see if he completes it. Patrick Camburn driving it deep, as is Bryce Tucker. They're going to have to lift up here in the corner. And they do. We see Bryce Tucker starting to slide up just a little bit, but he still holds it. Camburn, though, going to have the momentum off the corner, and it has a little bit of tow from Sean, able to get by him. White flag here in stage number 1.
As they're battling, just 2 cars behind them, David Meacham and Corey Moore in the 45 truck going at it, making slide jobs back and forth. As David Meacham able to make that pass, currently in 6th place, and Corey Moore in 7th.
Yeah, and they're still gaining on race leader KT McCann, but not going to be enough. Gap now down to 6/10 as it was 8 when we kept up with it last, but here, if we're going to see a move, it's going to be now. Sean Happick, though, kind of right in the middle, trying to protect. It looks like he's going to be good to go. Battle for P3 at the line. Patrick Camburn, Bryce Tucker. Who's it going to be?
A 2x2, and they're at the line. It's going to be Patrick Camburn taking that over Bryce Tucker, as that was neck and neck at the line.
Yeah, that was some really close racing there. Green flag racing all the way through stage number 1. That is what we love to see here in our truck series. I'm glad things took time to develop, and sure enough, you know, we saw Sean had a good start. He kind of fell back a little bit, but was able to maintain those tires, and he gets up to P2, but KT takes the lead on David Meacham after just a handful of laps, and that man never looked back.
Oh, he definitely had that stage win in sights there. He's got a pretty good truck, and I guess some pretty good tire saving going on at the same time, as he was able to get a second lead as well midway through that stage. And just by the end of it, probably was reserving more stuff on the end of that just to make sure that he was good to go, as everyone was able to catch up to about 6/10. But still, nonetheless, very good run from KT and all the drivers behind. Is the top 10 for that stage is going to be KT, Sean Happy in second, Patrick Cameron in third, Bryce Tucker in fourth, Chris Weinecker fifth, David Meacham in sixth, Corey Moore going to be rounding out the seventh, Sean Wilder eighth, 14 of Fry is going to be in ninth, and Zachary Tyler running out your top 10. So very good run for those guys. And they made some really good moves on the track.
No, absolutely. Yeah, some solid run there again in stage number 1. And as you mentioned, yeah, KT again just gets to the front, and all he has to do is just manage, and that's exactly what he does. And he's able to finish with a 6/10 lead on the rest of the field while everybody's battling behind. So I'm sure he still had a little bit left in the tank to use if he needed it, but we'll let these drivers go ahead and make their way down pit road, and we'll see if we can't get in touch with the number 95 of KT McCann. And in the meantime, I have gotten confirmation that they're looking at about anywhere between 20 to 23 laps on fuel. Anywhere in that range, we'll see that pit window open. So fuel shouldn't be too much of an issue here for our stages, but we'll definitely, if this green flag run continues to go the way it's going, we might see some very interesting battles here at the end of the field, because we've had a few green flag pit stops here in the season, but not a lot. And I say it almost every damn week. Pit stops on green flag runs, that'll win or lose you a race real quick.
Yeah, look at me at a lot of the races we've done so far. I've Kansas last week or 2 weeks ago in the Cup Series. I blew it. So definitely, there's it can make or break everyone's race, and that's you never know who's going to come on top of that.
Absolutely, and there we go. We see everybody getting off pit road clean. Top 3 stay the same, I believe. Potentially, Bryce Tucker loses a spot on pit road, if I'm not mistaken. But now that everybody is making their way, let's see if we can't get in touch with your Stage 1 winner and race leader, the number 95 of KT McCann. You sit behind David Meacham there for a couple laps, and you got by him, and you never looked back. Car's looking strong out there tonight. How you feeling?
Considering I've been sick all week, I feel like crap.
I was about to say, yeah, you don't sound very good, but nonetheless, for being sick, I mean, you're sure, making that truck look good out front. And, we saw a couple guys there at the back of the field getting a little bit loose. How important is it to maintain tires here for the course of the stage?
Stages are about the same distance as a fuel run, so I mean it's important. It's just you got to save them from the. I don't think I want to give everything away just yet, but yeah, there's certain things you can do to save tires for the whole run.
Absolutely right. You got anything for our Stage 1 winner before we let him go?
Oh man, I just wanted to say you're doing an amazing job running those lines, and kind of being more versatile on the track and not just staying to one line there. So it's having an amazing drive, but if you can elaborate a little bit on your decision making, are you trying to make some dirty air for the drivers behind you? I saw you going down to the white line on the backstretch and whatnot. What's your kind of your thought process tonight on keeping the trucks behind you?
Well, I ain't gonna help them pass me.
100%. Yeah, and that's KT, ladies and gentlemen. Congrats again on stage number 1, man. We'll let you get back down there, but yeah, the number 95 of KT McCann looking strong out here so far tonight. A little bit under the weather, but that's not stopping him from getting to the race lead. So, we saw how important it was for KT to get the lead early on. We'll see if any of these drivers try to attack on this restart to try to get that early lead and run away the same way KT did.
As KT's going to be starting on the outside row here.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, KT was in the broadcast room, so we will probably go ahead and let him call that. But yeah, he's going to move to the top. And, I've been critical of Happy on these restarts throughout the season. I mean, I will say the top line is definitely an advantage, but the trucks aren't up to speed yet by the time they get into turn 1 and 2. So if KT allows Sean to stay pretty close to him here, and Sean can ride that low line without getting too loose, KT won't get that much of an advantage. But we're about to find out what's going to happen here as, again, that pace car makes that hard left turn down pit road.
Coming to the restart zone here. Green flags flying. KT with an amazing jump.
Yeah, but Sean carrying some momentum now. He's definitely going to be at the quarter panel. Sean elects to tuck in behind KT. We'll see if he'll cut back down here. Patrick Cameron, looking to make a run down on the bottom. And you can see just how much time he's able to make, but they should carry the momentum on the high side. Even Sean is a little bit higher than KT, so we'll see if that'll matter too much. Everybody looking to find any gaps they can here.
David Meacham currently in the 8th position, just trying to sit in line there. He's trying to make some moves past the 45 of Corey Moore. I think my standing's a little messed up there. Since everything's all jumbled up because we're going 2 by 2 by 2. But nonetheless, we are first lap down in the second stage here, and KT's your leader.
Yeah, KT again getting out to that lead. See a battle now for the 3rd place position here between Chris Weiniger and Bryce Tucker. David Meacham, though, looking to maybe make it 3 wide. Thinks better of it for now. Yeah, goes with a crossover on Bryce Tucker. Tucker getting a little loose on exit. That gets Tucker into the wall, into Chris. Bounces back down. Chris Weiniger gets into the wall. We stay green for right now. Got to check and see, though. Is that... Yeah, Chris's truck is a little beat up, so that's definitely going to hurt him. We stay green flag racing for now.
I think David Meacham got the best of it there. Might have a little bit of right-hand side damage, but he's currently battling with Corey Moore for that 6th spot, or sorry, that 4th spot, sorry, as he falls back in line as Andy Berry and Travis George trying to make their way into the top 5 now.
Yeah, unfortunate contact there, and Chris Weiniger again finds himself in trouble and not really fault of his own. There was just nowhere to go. It looks like David made the crossover, and Tucker got a little bit loose on exit and bumps Weiniger up into the wall, but Sean Happick now lets the 45 and the 13 go. Might be looking to ride in their toe again and try to save a late run and a late charge like he did at the end of stage 1. But again, KT just doing a great job staying out front, and he's perfectly okay with everything he's seen in his rearview mirror right now.
Yeah, if I was in KT's shoes, the more they're battling behind me, the more I'm a little bit relieved. But even then, when I was on this track racing with the trucks and the cup cars, even with people behind me battling, I still was in a bad spot. It ended up not in my favor both times. But nonetheless, these guys are doing an amazing job. As KT back down to the white line, trying to break that draft to come back up, and going to turn 3, run that low line, and get a good drive off turn in turn 4. Driver's currently going 2 by 2 behind. Meacham falls in the line, but Happy and I want to say that's Travis George now up into the 5th spot, breaking into the top 5 for the first time tonight. As they go 2 by 2 behind as well, he's trying to battle it out and stay until here for leaders.
Yeah, absolutely, and I want to go ahead and mention it now. See it on the bottom right hand of the screen. Got a new sponsor on board here for our truck series, Grow Masters, and if you're wondering what it is, perfect time to tell you. Grow Masters Deer Mineral is fortified with 30 different vitamins and minerals and an all-natural organic dewormer. What it's going to do, it's going to help make these deer happy and healthy, man. I'm not too much of a hunter myself. I'm not opposed to it, but I do play some hunting games here and there, and everybody loves to get the deers. Wow, my English is just on point today, but everybody loves a deer with a big rack, and you want to try to get those big pointed bucks there. So Growmaster is a great way to, really just help keep these deer happy and healthy and really grow and everything that they need. So shout out to Growmasters for hopping on board with us this season and being a title sponsor of our series, and glad to have you guys on board and seeing what we can go ahead and continue to move forward with. But nonetheless, Matthew Chase now on board with him. Solid day, qualified P9, still in 9th, so no loss but no gain, and he's doing a great job. But Corey Moore, he's up 9 spots. I thought he was our biggest mover, but as I take a look at it, Corey Moore up 11 spots from where he started. He has now cracked his way into the top 10. He's looking to make his way in the top 5 now. P6, making a move on Sean Happy.
Got all the drivers this time around really trying to reserve their tires, and hopefully at the end of this they get a good rack trophy as they come across the finish line. Probably going to be KT at this point. The amazing run he's had so far, but you never know with cautions and restarts and whatnot. Is Happy is currently pushing Bryce Tucker in the 7th truck because he's 1 lap down, fighting to get his lap back currently. So it's offset 2 wide, and they're all running clean right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I wonder. Yeah, I guess Bryce Tucker may have went down to pit. Yeah, I do show him a lap down. It looks like I'll have to confirm that here. Yeah, he is a lap down. So, like you said, he's going to try to get up front and hope for a caution here. I mean, he would be the lucky dog, but he wants to just not even have to worry about it. But Corey Moore, teammates with Sean Happick as well in P4 and P5, looking to make a move on their charge all the way up front. But Zachary Tyler, again, looking to crack his way into the top 5 and make a move on Sean here in turn 3.
At this rate, I'm pretty sure with Bryce Tucker on new tires, coming through the field, if he gets by the 84 of Patrick Camburn, he might actually pull KT back to these drivers to make it, to have a little mix-up here for the lead.
Yeah, I mean, he can definitely bridge that gap, but they're there. I mean, Patrick has pretty much got his way to KT. I mean, he's still behind just under 3/10, but, you know, like you said, he's definitely within that draft range, and if Bryce Tucker does look to make the move on KT, that very well could slow down the momentum of the 95, and it could open the door for someone like Patrick or Meacham to even come on in and try to take the lead spot away.
Bryce Tucker getting on the inside of KT, little comm over the radio saying get out of the way pretty much as we're going side by side at the stripe. Really slowing down KT's run here as he's going to take the inside, and KT's going to have to change up his line, and Patrick Camburn following now Bryce Tucker as he's going to go side by side for the lead.
Yeah, Camburn looking to get to the rear quarter panel there. KT not quite able to do it. Bryce Tucker looking to do what he can to try to help those guys out back, but now KT is going to get a little bit of extra tow from Tucker, so that draft is going to iron out just a little bit, but KT holds on for now. Corey Moore looking to make the move on the outside, and as I say that, David Meacham makes a strong lunge into turn 3, gets to the quarter of Corey Moore. Now Corey Moore again going to have the tow of Patrick Camburn, so I don't believe that Meacham will be able to complete the pass, but things are definitely starting to ramp up here as we again come closer to our next stage here, stage number 2. Lap 37, so we got just a handful more laps here to go before we come to the second green and white checkered flag of the night.
I don't know if this is going to be good for Bryce Tucker, because if he took tires in that pit stop and took some damage there with the whole kerfuffle with Meacham and with Weiniger, Weiniger's going to get the lucky dog here. However, Tucker used a set of tires, so he's going to have to stay out. He might come back in the lead because he doesn't have a wave run or anything like that. He is currently the last car a lap, the first car not a lap down. So he's going to cycle through the lead when it comes down to pit stops if he doesn't pit.
Yeah, but that tire fall off here, I mean, we're going to be about 8 or 9 laps on those tires by the time we get back around. So yeah, if he did take tires, that's definitely going to be detrimental to the latter half of his race. As we see the truck into the wall, I'm not exactly sure who that was. I'll have to try to keep an eye. It looks like it was the 21 of Andy Berry, made a little bit of contact with the wall. But yeah, to your point, I mean, Bryce Tucker getting past KT does help Chris out, who has currently scored 2 laps down. But, you know, Chris is definitely going to need another caution, because once the stage comes out, he's still going to be a lap down. But that move that Bryce Tucker made on KT does help Chris here just a little bit, though. Definitely
does help Chris. However, I think they're coming up on Chris right now. I think Weiniger's going to go to 3 laps down here as he's running the high line, and KT's currently on his inside. Still pretty big damage on Chris Weiniger's truck there in the 53, the right-hand side, staying out of the way currently, as Happy is currently side-by-side with David Meacham, trying to get on the outside of him and get behind the 45 of Corey Moore to round out this stage, as we only got 2 laps to go.
Yeah, again, things continuing to pick up here. Our Truck Series playoff points on the line. Everybody looking to gain as many points as they can. David Meacham having a solid run tonight, as well as Sean Happick. We've talked about how important the stage points are, even sometimes more important than the race points, but the yellow flag is out. So we have a caution, and I believe that might be for cause. Yeah, the 21 of Andy Berry. Not the way you want to be facing on the backstretch. Makes contact at number 98 of John Shields, unable to get by him. I don't know if it was netcode contact or if it was bad contact, but we will go ahead and back this up here and see exactly what happened. We had seen the 21 get into the wall just a few laps prior. We see him looking low here in turn 1. Yeah, just carrying a little bit too much speed. Yeah, just collects the 53 of Chris again in the same spot. Just maybe expected to clear Chris off the corner there. I'm not exactly sure, but just makes contact with Chris, gets him loose, and that sends him around.
Super unfortunate for Chris Weiniger, as he's had a really good truck all night tonight, and Very unfortunate for him, and hopefully he's able to get the repairs done for the stage. As, everyone's coming down from pit road this time by. Get some damage repaired, but nonetheless, top 5 currently going to be KT in the 95. He's running out your second stage win of the night. Patrick Camburn P2, Corey Moore P3, Sean Happick P4, David Meacham P5, Zachary Tyler in the 29 truck in P6. You got Thomas Long. First time we've seen him tonight in the top 10. He's currently running 7th. Travis George P8. You have Matthew Chase P9. Sean Wilder running at your top 10 tonight. So definitely mixed up here in the top 10. This driver's coming down pit road right now as everyone's getting into their box. See if anyone opts to take 2 tires here. Is could be an option for some of these trucks. You see Rogers is currently up on 2 tires, and Chris Weiniger staying out currently. Trying to get that lucky dog or a free pass around as he was involved with that accident. KT coming first out of pit road. The 84 of Patrick Camburn coming out P2 again. Kyle Rogers in a P11. Travis George, P8. Coming up behind the 29 of Zachary Tyler. Even 29 actually got a speeding penalty there as comes down off the apron off of the pit road exit as everyone's lining up now to get ready for to be 1 to green as good pit stop for a lot of the drivers here. Curious who took 2 tires or compared to the 4-tire pit stop, traditional pit stop you would normally take for that, just because we're going to have one more pit stop. We're going to have restart the race at lap 40, and we have 75. We're going to have to have 1 green flag pit stop. So see if Bryce pull up that graphic for us here as we're good to go. They go 2 by 2, 1 to green. Lights are off the pace car coming into turn 1. You have KT P1, Patrick Camburn in P2, Corey Moore P3, David Meacham P4 on the outside row, Sean P5, Thomas Long P6, Travis George P7, Matthew Chase P8. Kyle Rogers able to pull out from outside the top 10 into the top 10 now as he's P9. And Bobby Grady probably getting a 2-tire stop there as he's in 10th currently. So definitely a little bit of a change from Zachary Tyler and Sean Wilder. When they leave the pits, they're going down at least 4 positions each as they're now 13th and 14th on the starting grid. So a lot of drivers on the inside line getting a couple penalties from pit road there. Nonetheless, we're coming on the backstretch now. Coming into turn 3, so we're going to take the green flag this time by.
Alrighty, sorry about that. Had to leave you hanging there for a minute. I do apologize.
No, it's all good. Wondering if we could pull up a graphic for the pit stop strategy there. If people had tires and whatnot, what tires they took for that pit stop. Because we have a couple movers in the field. Thomas Long currently P6 and Kyle Rogers in P9 breaking the top 10 as we had Zachary Tyler and Sean Wilder coming down to 13th and 14th after having a top 10 run there. So green flag, KT with a good jump on the outside. David Meacham really coming behind him as Thomas Long's got not the best restart as he's going to be 5 cars back now off that off his initial start. He's trying to block Travis George currently though, getting from the inside. Gonna give it up though. He's going to opt to stay on the outside. They go 2 by 2 by 2. Bobby Grady with a slide job in front of that was Matthew Chase. So definitely some hard racing going into turn 3 here as everyone's just trying to stay alive as they're 3 wide in the front right now.
And KT again looking to have a replica of the first 2 stages. Get out front early and get out front fast, and that's what he's doing as these guys continue to jockey for position behind him.
Now, I know we have 23 laps of fuel. So our pit window is anywhere between 57 to 63. You think people are going to be saving to try to go to like 67, 68 tonight? Like, is there any way people like maybe clutching on the turns, if they turn off the engine, stay in the draft? Like, is there any way someone might be able to kind of push it out to a little farther tonight?
I don't really see a reason to. It's such a high track like Michigan, especially having a tool like the draft to use. With how hard these guys are pushing, I think you're going to lose so much time trying to do that you're not really going to do anything long term. So if I'm here, I'm going to be completely reactionary to the leader. I definitely want to pit with friends here. You don't want to be pitting by yourself, especially if you're back in the pack. So I'm riding it around. I'm going to try to manage my tires as much as I can, of course, and try to stretch the fuel window out a little bit further, just so that way I have the freshest set of tires on the track and swing back in for a final stop. But I don't think these drivers should be saving like that with such a high pace track.
Do want to give a huge kudos to the number 7 truck, Bryce Tucker, currently in the top 10 again, as he's going on the inside of Zachary Tyler. He's going to actually take that spot. Slide job off of turn 2 as he's going to roll out the P9, taking that spot from Zachary Tyler there. Trying to get in line with Thomas Long and make another move into turn 3.
This guy's really starting to pick up the pace here a little bit as we are on our third and final stage of the race. So yeah, patience is going to start getting thinner and thinner. Guys are going to start making some bolder and bolder moves, and we haven't had any cautions for cause tonight. I'm sure that might change as we get later on down the stretch.
Well, I'm not too sure what Bryce has done to his truck. I don't know if he took another set of tires or not, but lap 42, not the last lap, the lap before that, he ran his fastest lap of the race with 39.43, as he is currently cooking in the 39.5s area right now, and he's still making moves. He's on the inside of Thomas Long, trying to get into the P8 currently on the exit of 4. Oh!
Fast lap times, but how sustainable is that going to be over the course of this run? We're going to find out here pretty quickly here.
Almost a little bit of contact there between Thomas Long and Bryce Tucker as they come side by side and almost getting hooked on the front straightaway. As 93 is getting a little squirrely coming out of P2, and the 29 of Zachary Tyler able to save it there, giving him enough room as possible. As the battles from pretty much P8 to P3 currently, you can throw a blanket over the 3 drivers, as no one's safe in this current spot in the top 10, because everyone's trying to get the best possible running position to be able to work out for the end of the pit stops here. As Bryce Tucker and Sean Happy are going to go side by side, battling for 7th as a door slam coming into turn 2. Bryce Tucker going to be able to nudge out in front of Sean Happy as he's coming down to the backstretch.
Yeah, Tucker really starting to feel the pressure now. The aggressiveness of his moves are starting to ramp up, and I wonder if that will come back to bite him at the end of this race. If somebody gets back to that bumper and they felt like they were raced wrong from Tucker, he might receive one of the same moves in return when it really counts.
Well, think about it. The last 2 Martinsville races they've raced IRL, Hocevar has been a topic of conversation with a lot of the drivers out there. And today he didn't do that well. And he got the bumper a couple times for whatever reason, you know, if people didn't like the way they raced. So definitely it happens IRL. It's going to happen here too. And I'm pretty sure you're going to see some of the drivers show their displeasure later on in the race.
Yeah, I mean, we see it where those drivers that are known for being a little bit quote-unquote aggressive on track, they usually don't get the benefit of the doubt when they make a mistake. So if somebody feels like they were wronged, it's very good chance that they may retaliate. But right now, so far, the only thing that has stayed constant in this race is KT McKinnon being out front in the lead. But these trucks behind him are single file. It looks like they're starting to work together here just a little bit. They're going to try to run down the number 95, KT McKinnon.
And don't look too far away from KT. 2nd place, my pick, David Meacham back up to P2 as he's trying to close that gap right now from P1.
time right now. Again, we still do have a pit stop. See if anything changes there.
Oh man, I am. This is where it gets exciting for me. Bobby Grady on the inside of David Meacham, trying to get side by side there as they go into turn 1 and exit turn 2. Is wasn't able to reach up to him, but able to go side by side with Patrick Camburn battling for the 3rd spot currently. As it's a blanket over top of those 3 drivers right now. A lot of the drivers running that outside line. I wonder what their tires are going to be, as everyone might have one set left or might not have a set left, just from how the stages have been and the people pit early. So Bryce Tucker currently probably on his last set of tires right now. He's making some time as he's now up in the 6th spot, just outside the top 5, as he's on the inside of Travis George, side by side with him, trying to just edge him out. Not able to get the run he wanted, but he's going to be on the inside for turn 3 here, coming into turn 4. So might get the run on the exit here, but we'll see as Travis George is going to have the draft of Bobby Grady in front of him. Happy 2x2 with the 29 of Zachary Tyler. Behind them, Sean Wilder, Thomas Long. We got Frey in 12th and Andy Barry going head to toe, just in line currently, trying to just make it around the track. This is wild racing. You know, you have a little bit of battle going in the front. You have people just riding around the back because they know there's another pit stop coming up. But Bryce Tucker holding up this Travis George in the 16 truck, making sure that he runs that high line, almost like a co-kart you'd see at NIS. This is wild. They're really racing hard in the front right now. We might see a caution here in the next 3 laps. Bryce Tucker pulling off the save move. Doing the go-kart. Getting the run on the inside. Not able to clear though. Still side by side. Oh, this is tight racing.
Yeah, the amount of space out there on the track is starting to get smaller and smaller as we come to 24 to go.
Bryce Tucker back to the bottom line, trying to slide up in front of Travis George, able to get it this time by... Man, that's a battle right now. As Travis George jukes him out, goes to the top side. Bryce Tucker currently in 5th, but still battling heavy for it right now, as he doesn't really have a lot of help from Corey Moore. Corey Moore is kind of trying to make it 3 wide in the middle right now, able to slide up behind Travis George. This is close racing. This is tight.
Really seeing the intensity between these 2 ramp up. We'll see if they can maintain and keep it clean as we continue to log these laps and we get closer and closer to that green flag pit stop. Talked about it. We see David Meacham, Patrick Camburn able to get ahead of KT as we now have a battle for the lead.
There's so many battles going on the track. I missed that one as a couple laps ago. David Meacham able to edge out KT, and you see the 84 truck on the outside, and that's going to be Patrick Camburn there, really taking advantage of Meacham getting by KT as they go side by side coming to turn 3 now.
Yeah, and Meacham kind of lifts off a little early. They're going to try to get the momentum on the exit of the corner. You see KT really wasn't expecting to check up that much, and that unsettles his truck a little bit, but we're still battling. Bryce Tucker able to get around Bobby Grady here in the background as well, so Bryce Tucker on a real big charge to get towards the front, but again, he's showing great speed, but how much longer can he show that speed before that truck falls off a cliff, if it does at all?
I honestly don't think he's got tires left. I think he's used all of his sets. I think he's, as he hits the wall on the exit of 3.
Contact! Travis George, Sean Appick. Bobby Grady involved, Corey Moore involved.
Not what drivers wanted to see. Very unfortunate for the drivers of Travis George, Sean Happick, and who else was involved with that?
Travis George, Sean Happick, Bobby Grady was involved.
Bobby Grady, yeah.
Go back and take a look at it here. Yeah, Bobby Grady makes contact with the outside wall. Travis George just hooks a hard left trying to avoid him and didn't realize that he had a truck on his inside, and he hooks Sean Happick into the outside wall. That sends Happy around. Again, contact with Bobby Grady as well. Corey Moore, hard contact with Grady as well. All in all, not a lot of damage for the 52 of Sean Happick, and that caution came out with 21 laps to go, so we will definitely be within our fuel window, and at this point it's just going to be a sprint towards the end.
A lot of the drivers that were able to save a set of tires for this late race pit stop, I think this is going to be, you're going to see a lot of the pace pick up here as well for the drivers that don't have any more tires left. Possibly Bryce Tucker, Chris Weiniger, who's a couple laps down still, Frank Zimmel. We haven't really talked much about him, but if he's, taking any extra tire sets and whatnot, we're definitely going to be seeing some of the drivers who are able to stay in the front, and with the new set of tires, it might be a different top 10 than we think.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm willing to bet a lot of money that the top 10 is going to look a lot different at the end of the race than it does at this current moment.
Currently coming first in the pit road, though, Patrick Camburn, David Meacham, KT in P3, Bryce Tucker P4. You have Travis George P5, Sean Wilder P6, Corey Moore P7, Zachary Tyler P8. Fry and Barry rounding out your top 10 as drivers are coming off pit road kind of fast, actually. I wonder if people took 2 tires here as the race off pit road. David Meacham's currently in the lead.
Yeah, a little bit of movement on pit road, and that contact for Sean Happick is going to really knock him down here a little bit. He's going to go towards the tail end of the longest line, damn near, with that contact, and that's going to be a lot of ground for him to make up. And he's been able to be patient, but with the gap that he has, he's going to have to do a lot of work to get back up there. And while we're sitting here talking about him, let's go ahead and let's pull up the number 52 of Sean Happick. Sean, you've had a pretty solid race here all day today. A little bit of contact with Travis George as he tries to avoid Grady getting to the outside wall. You've been a top 5 truck all day, and now you're going to have to come from the back, try to make your way up here. So, what's the game plan now? Are we full attack mode, or how are we going to try to get our way back up to the front?
Yeah, that's all I can do this late in the race, man. I was just on my tire saving. I was just starting to gain on the guys. I was about at that peak, where you just start doing better lap times than everybody, and then thought I had an easy 2 passes there. Just got caught up in something, but it happens. It's fine. I'll just do my best to work my way back. That's all I could do. Just try my best to get in top 10. I think it's about all I can shoot for at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Me and Ray were talking about it up here in the booth. Patience is starting to run out here, so we may see some more contact. That might not be the last caution, and maybe you can try to take advantage of that. But so far, man, you've had a good race, and good luck on trying to get back up there towards the front, man.
All right, thanks, guys.
And there it was. Sean, you're points leader right now in the series. Has had a solid night, and that just goes to show you how quick things can change from running P5 or P6, and now he's all the way at the back end of the field, and he's got a lot of ground to make up, and doesn't have a lot of time to do it. So yeah, it's going to be tough for him to get back up there, and even if he does get back up there, is he going to still have anything for our leaders? Not sure, but we'll find out. And is that our last yellow? That's the first yellow for cause that we've had all night tonight, but definitely a possibility that we could get some more here on the late stretch of this race.
With how close these guys are racing, with how little room they're giving on this 5-wide track that you can go, I'm not sure this is going to be the last yellow. I'm pretty sure we're going to see at least one more tonight as it ramps up here. As David Meacham opting to take the bottom line, Patrick Camburn on the outside of him. You have KT and P3 behind the leader, Bryce Tucker P4, and those 4 have been a blanket all night. As 3 of those drivers are playoff drivers, so it's going to get wild.
Yeah, and again, we've talked about how aggressive Bryce Tucker has been over the course of these last couple laps. Does that come back and bite him here? Does he get too aggressive, or does somebody not take liking to some of the moves that he makes and try to give him a taste of his own medicine? I'm not sure, but we'll find out as green flag back in the air at Michigan here in the playoffs.
KT with a great start, able to, that was David Meacham, with a great start as he's able to get in front of Patrick Cameron coming into turn 1, turn 2, and everyone else behind, offset 3 wide, just trying to stay alive off of the exit of turn 2 as they come down the backstretch and heading into turn 3.
Zachary Tyler looking to make the move on Corey Moore. Sean Wilder with a hard left turn into turn 3. He's going to take that line away from Zachary Tyler. Sean Wilder looking to make some moves on the bottom. We see Bryce Tucker and Travis George, side by side right there on the door. We saw those two racing hard here before the caution comes out. We'll see if they're able to stay clean. As we see it now, they're racing real hard there for that spot there. Bryce Tucker now dives low, getting a little tight. He drifts up the track just a little bit now. Travis George trying to get the momentum on the high line. 3 wide down the backstretch. Zachary Tyler, everybody's moving. They're trying to cut the draft. Travis George able to clear Tucker. As Tucker trying to make a move here in turn 3.
9 leaders of there's 2, 4, 6, 8. There's 8 of them here battling. And then right behind them, about half a second back, you have everybody from P8, or I'm going to say, sorry, P7 on back. And it's pretty much everyone battling right now. Just trying to stay alive in this blanket. There's a 3 wide everywhere. Leaders are 3 wide. 4 wide.
Zachary Tyler. Yeah, Zachary pushes Meacham into the corner and gets him loose. Patrick Cameron able to get the run. Zachary Tyler gets loose off the corner. And there it is, contact. We stay green flag racing though for now.
Drivers all over the place.
And Travis George, that truck is completely broken. They're still fanning out. 4 wide into turn 3. Oh my God, this is getting crazy.
Man, throw a blanket. You don't even need a little towel or nothing. They need a duvet. They are all over the place currently. 3 wide coming out of turn 4 with the 99 of, I don't even know. It's
Sean
crazy.
Wilder.
Sean Wilder just pushing himself in the middle there. I can't keep up.
Yeah, definitely a lot going on here. And, if you're Sean, you may have hoping that would have been a caution. Travis George, yeah, he gets some terminal damage from that. He has to go down pit road. So contact up front, it trickles its way all the way back down to the field, and this race got a lot more spread out front, and it's all the excitement now is towards the mid-pack of the field. Sean Wilder, Bobby Grady, Kean Fry, Matthew Chase, like you said, they're all right there under a blanket, and 13 laps to go when we cross the line here. Time is running out.
And everyone's trying to make a little bit of a move here, push the outside line, get clear, go down, just to make a run, to do a slide jump, as you've been seeing all night tonight, and man, it is wild. Matthew Chase running that outside line, coming out of turn 2, getting behind Sean Wilder as they're trying to form back up, to get the momentum going back on the outside line. It's the 98 in the far background, the Tennessee truck of John Shields, trying to stay alive behind the 19 of Andre Cavallo. Sorry if I butchered that there, but they're going side by side here trying to get the run, and the 93 is sliding all over the place in the background. That's Thomas Long trying to just stay behind to get the draft, and man, we're spread out. Everyone from the leader back down to 23rd. There's a 5-second gap currently from the last truck in line on the lead lap to the leader, as our top 3 are currently only half a second apart, and everyone else is 2 seconds back. So it's intensity has been risen for everything from the top 5 back on to the 23rd there.
Yeah, Patrick Camburn looking to try to get back towards the bumper of our race leader, KT McCann, who finds himself up front once again when it matters the most here at the end of the race. Meacham a little bit further behind here. He's going to have to try to stay in that draft and try to have any chance of this, and again, maybe hope for a caution to go on attack mode. But like you said, these front 3 drivers have really driven away from the rest of the pack.
Contact with the 93 and Thomas Long and Andre in the 19 truck as they're coming in. Turn 1 of the backstretch is getting squirrely. You're the 14 of Fry just
Contact
literally
and Wilder around. Sean Happy involved in yet another wreck. Big one. Caution out here at Michigan, and that one is huge.
I think I called that one early. We had trucks that were going through the grass, through the infield. They were just trying to fan out and stay alive, and wow.
Yeah, unfortunately, Sean Happy gets caught up in that one again. We'll rewind it back and see what happens here. We saw Kean Fry get loose. See what happens here. I'll just contact Moser, Seabolt, and Fry running out of room. Oh, yeah, Seabolt just, I believe that's Seabolt at the 27. No, Kyle Rogers, excuse me. Kyle Rogers trying to give room there to, it looks like Kean, who was trying to rejoin, and Sean Happig had the momentum. You see it there. Rogers bounces off of Meacham, or Moser, excuse me, and just comes up and makes big contact there with Sean and sends him up flying, and they all go spinning around, and that was a huge one. Brad Dorr involved, Sean Wilder, Matthew Chase, Sean Happett, Kyle Rogers, Kean Fry. Thomas Long piles in there at the end of the wreck as well. So a lot of trucks involved in that one. A lot of playoff drivers as well. That's going to be some playoff implications for some of these guys. Huge contact, the big one at Michigan.
That's hard for race control too. Like if you look at it, people are just trying to give room to make sure people are, we're good to go, and a little bit of late contact there with the 99. I'm not too sure who got into Sean Wilder when he was spinning up top, but like everyone's just trying to give room. They know it's not the last lap of the race. It's lap 67 out of 75. You have to make it to the end of the race to be able to win the race. And everyone is getting a little squirrely. Everyone's trying to give room to make sure that we can still stay alive, stay in the draft, keep racing. And unfortunately, it ends up in a big wreck. But it's hard on the race control to deem who's at fault for that one for sure.
Yeah, well, luckily not something that race control has to deal with in this series, as we do have the IPL, and again, that's why a lot of these drivers didn't qualify and they were starting in the back here. So, I don't know that we'll see any penalties come from that one. I do know there was a little bit of late contact after the fact, but yeah, like you said, I mean, everybody trying to do the right thing there on the backstretch, but everyone tries to do the right thing, and unfortunately we end up getting the wrong result. But this may be exactly what the number 13 of David Meacham needs. He got that contact there coming into the turn, got him loose, and that's kind of what jumbled up the field. So he's going to be starting in the second row now. 9 laps to go. I believe it'll be 8 this time, so 7 to go when we take the green flag. And yeah, that patience that we talked about, if it was still any left, it's all out the window when this green flag flies here again.
Yeah, there is no more patience. These guys are going to be doing what they can in the turns. Like, honestly, like how you and I were racing in the Cup cars there a couple months back now, going into the turns, and you were bump drafting me, trying to rather get me loose and give me enough speed as well. So I'm pretty sure we're going to be seeing some people pulling some crazy moves to make sure that they're able to stay in front of their opponents. But I'm pretty sure at the same time I don't think they're done wrecking yet.
Yeah, I mean, we're running out of laps to wreck, but I mean, you may be right with how hard they're racing, and we've seen 2 pretty big accidents there. We'll see if we see a third one, as again we'll take the white or the green flag with 7 to go here in Michigan. It's about to get insane.
Looking out right now into the field of trucks, there's a lot of trucks that are still in pretty good shape, actually. So I'm excited to see who's able to get the run, who's able to kind of stay alive here as they come down to the last 5 laps of this race. Let them get up to speed, and then pretty much from there on out, I think it's going to be gloves off, and they're going to be just going at it. So I'm very excited to see what's going to happen here.
Oh, absolutely, and that's the thing. I mean, they've not just been battling for the lead. I mean, they've been battling all throughout the field, from first all the way down to 22nd. There's been battles, so plenty of time and plenty of opportunities for a late race caution here. But again, KT finds his way towards the point once again, but David Meacham, Patrick Camburn have been on his coattails all night, and Bryce Tucker, we've seen it so far in this race. He's not shy to make the aggressive move. So at this point, this is anybody's race, and anything can happen here.
Just looking at the running order right now, 21 trucks on the lead lap. You have Kyle Rogers, Chris Weiniger, Brian, the 14 truck is a lap down as well, and Travis George 5 laps down, as everybody else is on the lead lap. So coming to the green flag, KT gonna have control here. Green flag's out. KT with a great jump.
Yeah, KT gets a big jump, but we're 3 wide already. 2 wide. Corey Moore looking to make the move on Bryce Tucker into turn 1. Patrick, though, putting the pressure on KT early on. Gets to the quarter panel, gets him a little loose on entry. They're going to be door banging here off of turn 2. They keep it clean. That side draft on the backstretch is going to pull them back a little bit. Corey Moore looking to make the move on David Meacham now. As he does, coming into turns 3, we should have a move here. Battling all throughout the field. Bryce Tucker looking to make a huge dive to the left. 3 wide in turn 3 and 4.
I don't even know what to look at. Zachary Tyler did the exact same thing with 51 of Brandon Dayhoff and the 8 of Sammy Moser, as everyone is just going side by side currently for the last 5 laps of this race. where do you even look? I don't even know where to look at. Like, Bryce, what do I do?
I don't know. I'm just looking at the leaders, and the caution is out here again. I'm not sure who's involved in that one, but I'm seeing a lot of red.
Oh my gosh, there's so much. I knew they weren't done wrecking yet. I knew it.
Oh, so Seabolt, yep, there it is right there. Seabolt gets loose, and 2 will hop on board with Wilder. I think he got a pretty good view of what's going on there. Hop back, yeah, so Ryan Seabolt riding the high line in turn 1, gets on that seam, truck gets loose on entry. Andre checks up for it. Wilder gets into the back of Andre, sends him up into the wall, and that sends him around. Oh, big contact after the fact, too. I gotta go back and find that. A lot of cars end up getting involved in that one. Let me rewind that and see exactly who all did end up catching the tail end of that.
We knew it was gonna get hectic. Yeah, that's a lot of cars damaged or trucks damaged there.
Yeah,
we knew it was gonna get hectic though.
Seabolt, Kean Fry gets involved. Sean Happett gets involved again. Big damage to his truck. The 31 of Matthew Chase. I believe Andy Berry involved as well. So again, another incident there with a lot of big names here in the points getting caught up in that big one. So we're gonna have another fight here for the lead. I believe that's gonna put us close to a green-white checkered naturally. And yeah, I mean, I would think a lot of trucks end up getting caught up in that one as well. We see the hood, Sean Happick's truck bouncing up and down. So that might be his night ended. We'll see if he does still have a faster pair left in the tank. But yeah, that hood's not supposed to be doing that.
Man, what a turn of events. We knew it was gonna get hectic. It's Michigan. Like, the racing here is it's very competitive. Everyone can get really racy here, and you know, the weather currently still at 75 degrees temperature. It's not overly hot. They can get a little loose. They can still be pushing though if they're pushing hard on that right front. So like, there's just a lot of factors that go into this, and a lot of the drivers here is you see KT hitting that blue cone. Definitely, it's there may only be 3 laps left in regulation, but in our hearts, they're all racing like there's like 1 to go. We all know that.
Yeah, and taking a look at Sean, he's still down pit road. That truck is still beat up pretty good. So unfortunate there. Sean gets involved really in, I mean, 3 incidents in a row. Just kind of innocent bystander gets caught up. So that's going to be detrimental to that points lead, especially if David Meacham can get the win here. But again, like you said, these guys aren't done battling quite yet. And I would like to think we're done wrecking, but at this rate, we may have another one. I'm not sure, but KT has been the strongest truck out there on track thus far. He's led the most laps. He got the stage 1 win. Patrick Camburn's been on his tail, as David Meacham has been too, but don't go to sleep just yet, because Corey Moore, he's up there in P3. He's having a solid run tonight as well. So again, I mean, really anybody here in the top 5 could win this race, especially with how they're racing right now.
Yeah, it's, man, even if Patrick Camburn gets into KT a little bit, and or Bryce Tucker makes an amazing outside move, like he's been kind of showcasing a little bit, or even the 64 of Hunter there, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many people that are just in the top 10
Ray,
currently.
what's that last name for Hunter?
I don't want to make that mistake. I think it's, I can't even say that. I don't want to butcher it that bad, but I do love the truck though. But going off my point though, a lot of the drivers in the top 10, you know, Brandon Dayhoff rounding out that top 10 currently, even if, you know, the top 3 make a mistake, someone that's in the top 10 can still make, you know, 3 or 4 passes in the last lap here. So there's a lot of side-to-side racing that's still going to be done. And as we're going 1 to green this time by, coming to the green flag, it's just the intensity that we thought was already a 10, we're going to a 12.
Yeah, 100%. And like you said, I mean, definitely can't rule out any contact at this point. I mean, you know, if you're a guy like Bobby Grady or Zachary Tyler, Dayhoff, or even Moser, you know, you're within striking distance. So if these guys up front get into some good contact and you're able to avoid it, I mean, again, you definitely could be at the right place, right time, and, you know, come away with a little bit of an upset here. But Pace car is about to come off here once again. KT McCann, Patrick Camber in your front row here for the potentially what is the final restart of the night. We'll see who gets the better jump here.
A late start there from KT.
Yeah, that might be a penalty for Patrick as well.
Chris Weiniger got a black flag. No other driver got a black flag though.
Interesting start there. So David Meacham able to clear Corey Moore off of turn 2.
Caution.
Caution out once again. Frank Zimmel involved in this one. Have to rewind it back here a little bit. We already kind of see what's happened. Cold tires on the restart. Zimmel kind of hugging the bottom line. Yeah, just gets on that seam. Truck goes around, overcorrects it up the track, and actually able to save it. So no real harm done there. Caution does come out, but no other truck really involved too much in that one. We see Hapik piling in late. We'll see what happened there with him. If I know his truck's got damage, I don't know if he. Oh no, Sean. Yeah, Sean has that damage as well, and ends up just kind of looping it on his own as well. No contact made, so no additional harm done there. But Sean Hapik going to be really fighting some handling conditions there with that damaged truck. And right now we see KT still up in the lead as these laps go on. We'll have ourselves a green-white checkered here at Michigan.
Yeah, Happy almost going 90 degrees there on the banking, just drifting it like from the drift more than anything. But you see a lot of the drivers here. Lap 75 currently coming on lap 76. First green-white checkered attempt. You have David Meacham getting the spot over Corey Moore. Patrick Camburn staying in P2. KT still in first, but the top 5 currently. You have Bryce Tucker in P5. Zachary Tyler in P6. Bobby Grady P7. I'm going to attempt to say the truck 64 name. I think it's Hunter Jacques.
I just say Jock. I don't know if that's correct either, but nonetheless.
He's currently running it at P8. Moser in P9. You got Thomas Long in the P10 position currently. So a lot of the drivers who we didn't really see much in the stages tonight making their face, showing their face in P10. So I'm excited to see Brendan Dayoff, to see if he's able to get that Zinn truck up in the front as well. So I'm excited for the this green-white checkered. I mean, it's hectic, man. This is racing.
Yeah, they're definitely racing, and it just goes to show you how much it means for these guys. I mean, we had a clean race, till about 15 to 20 laps or so ago, and then it's kind of like all hell broke loose, and here we are. We've had 3 pretty quick cautions back to back to back. But yeah, I mean, everything so far, nothing really too egregious, just hard racing, a couple mistakes out there being made, but this is what happens when we get to the end of these races.
Now, a lot of these drivers have not pit yet. I know we've had a couple cautions. People have been saving. If we go to the third green-white checkered, do we have enough fuel in the trucks?
I would think so, with the amount of cautions that we've had. I would think these guys would still be okay. But we'll see what happens if we get there.
I think some of the drivers that have been at the front, pushing really hard and whatnot, we might see a little bit of a late race pit. They have to if they've been pushing very, very hard in the front compared to the drivers who've been in tow the whole time. So I'd say watch out for KT, Camburn, or Meacham if they might have to. I hope they don't have to pit. It's been a really good race up front, but cautions breed cautions, and we're seeing that right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely. Some cautions being bred here, and I'm not talking about wheat bread. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, again, it's I gotta say, I do want to give credit to these guys. I know that we've had some chaos here in the truck series. Again, this was kind of our beginner series, but the racing has cleaned up pretty significantly, and everybody's battling hard out there. And again, patience is running out, as is time. So, I will say I want to give props to these guys. I mean, we've seen close racing up front. Bryce Tucker's made some aggressive moves, but you know, nothing egregious. I mean, and even then, you know, he doesn't really make any contact. So these guys are finally starting to get to a point where they're feeling everybody out. They're able to race side by side and not, you know, have too many incidents. And it's just awesome to see the growth of some of the drivers that we have here. And, you know, I wanted to mention it earlier when I was away. You know, you had talked about, you know, just how things were going. And I got to say, the amount of parity that we have in this series has been absolutely fantastic to watch. You know, we've seen it in some of our other series where it's kind of the same guy winning, you know, just about every other week or so. But we've had so many different winners here in the truck series, and it's just awesome to see how things develop. And we might have ourselves another winner tonight. I mean, KT's got a race, David Meacham's got a race, but I don't believe Camburns made it to victory lane, or Corey Moore. So potential for a new winner here in round 14, the second round of the chase here in high velocity racing. But it all comes down to this, maybe. Green flag back in the air once again. KT McCann gets a good jump, but Camburn not too far off. KT's going to get about a half a truck length, but Patrick is making some steam there on the bottom line here.
And with Meacham in tow, they're able to give him the draft he needed to get in front of Corey Moore as they go side by side, almost 3 wide, coming into turn 1, exit turn 2. Their bottom line's going to have the run here on the inside. David Meacham not able to get the clear, but leaders side by side currently as they go into turn 3.
Yeah, Camburn looking to get to the quarter panel of KT McCann, gets to his door before they go into the corner. They're going to be side by side, everybody fanning out. 3 wide for third here. Patrick Camburn has the edge over KT McCann, but KT going to get the momentum off of turn 4, coming to the white flag here. Patrick Camburn, KT McCann, banging doors, white flag in the air. David Meacham getting pushed by Tyler on the bottom as well. Corey Moore, everybody's here. This is crazy.
You could throw a blanket over the top 10 as everyone is so side by side and together right now. As the 64 gets pushed up the track.
A little bit of contact there. Bobby Grady hard into the wall. Moser goes around. We stay green. The white flag is out. Camburn looking to make a run here again. KT not giving him a lot of room. Corey Moore looking to take advantage on the outside as well. Camburn drives it deep into turn 4. Doesn't quite clear KT. He does clear him. KT looking to make the crossover though. Camburn up front in the lead. Side by side. Camburn is going to win the race here at Michigan with a lot of chaos on the last lap. We're definitely going to have to go back. I think like 8 trucks went flying, 2 were up in the air. That was a crazy last lap, but Patrick Camburn able to get it done on the last lap over KT McCann. And look at that, the number 7 of Bryce Tucker. We'll definitely have to find out what his strategy was because we were unsure, but his strategy gets him to the podium. One hell of a race.
Wow. Wow.
Try to back this up here and try to catch everything that went on. So we see David Meacham on the bottom of Bryce Tucker going into turn 1. Everybody getting loose. Tucker goes up a little bit, gets into Moser. Looks like the 29 of Zachary Tyler gets Meacham loose. Moser just kind of comes down on Bobby Grady. No diddy. Just not clear. Moser just kind of continues to turn left. I'm not sure if he got loose. They kind of meet in the middle. That sends Grady into the outside wall. Nowhere for these guys to go in the backstretch. You see Kenan Cook gets involved. And then further up ahead, I see more contact. I got to try to find it because I don't even know who got up. There it is. Yeah, Bryce Tucker. So let me rewind that. I changed the camera there as soon as that contact was made. So let's see. Yeah, Corey Moore kind of arcing the corner a little bit. Just comes down over the nose of Tucker, who is there. Corey Moore goes firewall deep into the outside wall. Looks like he is able to get it limped around. So we'll hop on board with Moser here, back again on that first initial incident. A lot to unpack here on this last lap.
I'm speechless, Bryce. That was intense.
Yeah, I like you said, I didn't really know what all was going on, but you see Bobby Grady almost goes around. Moser ends up going on his lid. Dayhoff gets involved. Wilder, Kenan Cook makes contact. A lot of chaos there at the end of that race. Wow. But nonetheless, here we will get these guys here in the booth, and we will be back for our driver interviews in just a minute. everybody sit tight and we will be right back. All righty, ladies and gentlemen, what an absolute banger of a race. Absolutely insane. Craziness happening there at the end of that race. We saw movement absolutely everywhere, and it was crazy to see. We're going to go ahead and hop in. Bryce Tucker coming away in third place here after that amazing finish that you had. I mean, just absolutely incredible what you were able to do. Now, I want to talk to you here because we were, you got into that incident there early on. What was the tire situation looking like? Because, I mean, you were able to pass the leaders like you were standing still. So just kind of talk to us about how that race developed for you.
Yeah, I mean, I got to look that back. I think it was Meacham, Chris, and I kind of got 3 wide there and kind of bounced each other around and spun me out. Blessing having that fast repair, use that fast repair. When I came out, I was able to come out well out of the pit, and then I knew I just had to drive through the field to try to get that lap back right. And I felt like I had found something with a pace, a race pace, being able to just drive those tires hard for 20 laps and not really letting up too much. I found a good line and was confident in that line, and that was pretty satisfying and rewarding to work through those top 5 or 6 cars, whatever that was there, to get that lap back.
Yeah, and you did an amazing job. And we were talking about it all night, some of the moves that you were able to make. You did a hell of a job there. And, again, some of the moves were a little aggressive, but nothing egregious. I mean, you did exactly what you needed to do there. And, I mean, it works out for you. You come away with a P3. And, I mean, Ray, do you have anything for Bryce Tucker here before we let him go?
Well, just for myself as a driver and, as someone who's broadcasted twice now in this league, it's, you guys have been putting on a lot of great racing and whatnot. It's been very hectic on the track, but very controlled, hectic at the same time. My one question for you is how you raced tonight. Going into this was the second race, going into Bristol next week. Are you just worried or afraid of the drivers next week if you may have made anyone upset or anything like that? I know it was hard racing. I know you got your lap back fair and square, and you were up there pretty well most of the night. You had one of the dominant trucks tonight. Just going into next week though at Bristol, you thinking it's gonna work out in your favor? Are you looking like someone's gonna give it some payback there? Because I know you were door to door and you banged a little bit of doors there with some of the drivers on the track tonight.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, you were still able to do well. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, just trying to figure this oval thing out. On Friday night, I felt like I had good pace, but what I haven't figured out is how to race fast and clean at the same time. And I kind of messed myself up in the Cup Series, not racing hard enough early on. Got into a little bit of an incident, and it did mess my night up. So now I'm just trying to figure out how do I use the pace that I have, but not use it at other people's expense, right? And I think I did a pretty good job of that tonight. Obviously going 3 wide is always treacherous, and but I had to get my lap back, and hopefully those guys can appreciate. I didn't get into anybody there on that part of it. There was an incident at the end there, but I look it back, I'm pretty sure I held my line, and he kind of came down a little bit. I wasn't letting out of the throttle with the green-white checker like that.
No, absolutely.
No, of course not.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, yeah, your moves were aggressive, but nothing really to be frowned upon. Yeah, we watched it back, and it looks like Corey Moore was just trying to get a little bit of a late exit and self-clears across your nose. And at the end of the day, man, it works out for you. P3 for Bryce Tucker, man. Before we let you on out of here, anybody you want to shout out or thank?
Just the HVRL crew, everybody here, everybody that we race with, the admin, you guys, Sean. Thanks, guys. It's great. I always enjoy it. Look forward to Friday nights and Sunday nights.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're glad to have you on board, man. You got one hell of a first name, so it's great to have you in here. But nonetheless, that was P3 Bryce Tucker. As we heard at the end of stage 1, KT feeling a little bit under the weather, so he's not joining us with us tonight. But we've got your race winner, the number 84 of Patrick Camburn. You had some amazing pace all night tonight. You're able to get yourself back towards the front. Hard racing there with KT at the end. You guys are banging doors, taking runs, and you come away with it, man. How does it feel to be able to, put your name there on the podium and get this race win tonight?
It feels really good. I was giving Chris crap earlier for picking me to win. I'm like, oh, you just jinxed it, and I'm going to screw something up somewhere along the way. But that was a ton of fun out there tonight. There was hard racing all around. It was great that we had a multi-groove track to really work around, especially as tires wore out there. Felt like I was faster on the long run, and those cautions at the end were going to hurt me, but I was able to get it done in the end.
Yeah, and that's what I just wanted to ask you. It's kind of crazy. You kind of almost to a sense answered my question before I really asked it, but we had green flag racing all the way there till about midway of stage 3, and talk to us kind of a little bit about that. I mean, you mentioned you felt like you had the long run speed. We talk about it all the time about how important it is to get into a rhythm. So as those cautions kept coming out there in the third stage, I mean, did you feel like you were going to be able to take advantage of it, or do you feel like it was really going to hurt you? I mean, obviously, hindsight's 2020, you get the win, but what was going through your mind as those caution laps continued to wind down and, the amount of time that you had to make the final pass there dwindled down with all those caution laps?
I was hating every minute of it. I felt the longer and the more caution laps that we got to run around there, the cooler the tires were going to get and the more even it was going to be between me and KT. I felt like if we did get a long run there at the end, I was a little quicker on the long run and would have been able to maybe reel him back in towards the end there. But I mean, all in all, it all worked out at the end. So good day.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Patrick Camburn, you get your name on the winners list here in High Velocity Racing League for two-time winner. So I think almost every winner that we've had in the league so far has got 2 wins, apart from KT McCann, who has 1. And yeah, so I mean, hell of a job from you. You get your name there on the top of the podium once again. It comes at a very crucial time in the playoffs as well. Congratulations to you, man. Before we let you go, is there anybody you want to shout out or thank?
Just the whole HVRL crew that puts this together week in and week out. It's a ton of work going into this. There's a lot of behind the scenes that goes in, and just really appreciative that you guys put this on for us.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We're glad to have you, and thank you for your support. And of course, it takes you guys, the drivers, to show up each and every week to allow us to do what we do. So thank you for that. That is your race winner, the number 84 of Patrick Camburn. We got the results for you on the screen. Of course, we heard from Patrick Camburn. KT McCann, strong race, led the most laps, comes away with P2 and a stage win. Of course, Bryce Tucker as well. Thomas Long able to take advantage of the chaos there on the last lap, and Zachary Tyler rounds out your top 5. So all around an absolute amazing race from our guys. It can't be stressed enough how awesome it is to see these drivers continue to improve each and every week. And we saw it here tonight with the amount of green flag laps that we had. And Ray, I mean, I know you kind of mentioned it. You haven't been able to be up here in the booth all season long, but you sure as hell picked one hell of a race to come back to and watch. That is for sure. It was awesome.
Man, it was wild. I think there was action pretty much every single turn. There was rather it be the front, the middle, the back of the pack. You're always seeing something on the track, and these guys week in, week out have been showing putting everything on the track and showing it for the fans, showing it for the competitors and stuff like that. Just the amount of respect they have and the carefulness they have, and they're trying to make sure they're doing the right thing. So definitely huge shout out to all the drivers tonight and everybody that put on the show, because that was a great one to watch and broadcast with you tonight, Bryce. Thank you for having me up here.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad to have you on board. And, that's, I would say, honestly, one of the, more exciting truck races of the season. And I know some playoff drivers had a little bit of unfortunate luck tonight, but all in all, it was awesome to watch in the booth. And I hope me and Ray did you guys justice up there when you guys go back and watch it, because like I said, it was an absolute blast. But, that's going to conclude our coverage of the truck race here tonight. But, again, tomorrow we've got Texas Motor Speedway in the Xfinity car. Playoff racing continues. It's going to be slick. It's going to be fun. And then, of course, we go to our first road course of the season on Friday night with Sonoma as well. So it's going to be a jam-packed racing week here in High Velocity Racing Network. But this has been Bryson Ray. Thank you guys for tuning in, showing all the support for your friends and your drivers there in the chat. We really appreciate everybody who spends their time hanging out with us on Sundays. And we will see you again tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.